Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid has a target on his back and a dozen Republican hopefuls taking aim. Who has the best shot at winning the primary and unseating Reid? And what about the damage from all that infighting along the way? We'll hear from 3 of the Republican candidates vying to take on the Senate Majority Leader. That's next on Face to Face.
Tough questions, direct answers. This is Face to Face with John Ralston.
Welcome to Face to Face. We'll bring you newsmakers and commentary you won't find elsewhere. Today we're going to skip the political headlines so we may spend more time with candidates in race for the U.S. Senate. It's a crowded field on the Republican side. In fact, too many hopefuls to have on one program. This is the first of what we hope will be many discussions with the candidates. 3 join me today. Mark Amodei is a term-limited state senator from the Carson District. He was elected to the Assembly in 1996 and to the Senate in the next session. Sharon Angles, a former Assemblywoman who served her Washoe County District from 1998 until 2006. She's a background in education. And John Chachas is a New York banker with deep roots in northern Nevada. He left the state at the age of 17 and returned recently to establish residency. Danny Tarkanian's a Las Vegas attorney. He was supposed to join us, but he just didn't show up for today's program. We have no idea where he is. We also invited Sue Loudon to join us. Her campaign waffled about whether she'd appear, then claimed she had a previously arranged meeting that is not on her public schedule. I'm told that Mr. Tarkanian has arrived. We'll bring him in the second segment. First, let's take a look at how much all the candidates have raised. I want to welcome you all here, just so people know how much everyone's raised, just get the idea from that. Senator Amodei, you've raised $65,900. Ms. Angel, you've amassed almost $600,000, much of it in the last quarter of the year. Mr. Chachas, total of $1.9 million, $1.3 million of it from your own pocket. Danny Tarkanian, who we hope will be here, has raised about $650,000. Harry Reid has raised $15 million plus. I want to talk about Harry Reid first. I don't want to spend too much time on him today because this election is about a choice for the Republican nomination first. But let me start with you, Mr. Chachas. This week, it was announced that Yucca Mountain Project was essentially killed. Harry Reid taking credit for the president doing it. Doesn't that present the best case imaginable why the incumbent should be retained? You guys shouldn't even be here. Harry Reid has the juice. What about that?
Well, first, thanks for having us, John.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. I mean, if the best that the Senate Majority Leader can say that he's done for the state of Nevada, that has 25% structural unemployment, 13% reported unemployment, is that he managed to defund a highly unpopular initiative to put nuclear waste in Nevada. It's a pretty sad statement as far as I'm concerned.
You don't think that he deserves credit for that? You're not going to give him any credit at all?
Great. It's terrific. He's there and he's defunded something that the people of the state of Nevada were deeply opposed to begin with. It doesn't say an awful lot to me. It seems to me that if the senator is going to be doing something for the state, it means figuring out a way to return Nevada to some prosperity and some stability in the housing market and the jobs market. And so far, frankly, the record speaks for itself.
We're going to talk a little bit about that later. Do you give Harry Reid credit for this? I mean, this is what he's running on. Look, I'm there in the room. I got the president to defund Yucca Mountain. It's gone. Ms. Angel, don't you give him credit for that?
No, I don't give him much credit for that either, John. And the reason is because he should be looking at jobs for Nevadans, and demonizing nuclear energy is not the way to bring in new energy.
He's not demonizing nuclear. He said he supports nuclear power.
Well, he says one thing. That's Harry Reid for you. He's always talking at one level and then talking at the next level. He's the master of flip-flop. And we're watching that happen with this Yucca Mountain thing. If he's really for nuclear energy, then he should be looking at the potentials that we have right here in the state, and he's not.
Do you think he should have not tried to kill Yucca Mountain then because of the jobs that it could have created there?
I think that he should be looking for jobs, and I think there are potential for jobs right there, yes.
All right, what about you, Senator Amodei? Are you going to you could be the only one here to give a round of applause to Senator Reid for killing Yucca Mountain? Come on.
Well, John, if it was just this week, that would be okay. But that's been worked on since Senator Bryan and before. A lot of congressional delegation folks, a lot of folks at the state level, governors, attorney generals, things like that. The other thing, too, is I think there's a missed opportunity. It's one thing to zero out the funding, but it's another thing to go, we should have pivoted right away, because once that project is zero, there are other probable uses. that relate to jobs. And it's like once it's at zero, then you got to start at ground zero again. Real leadership would have been, we've defunded it and we're pivoting to this use right now.
So give us some ideas, since you're mentioning that. What should it be used for?
Well, the reprocessing stuff that's overseas, that's something to look at, where you don't store it, but you have a leg up. You create jobs that pay a livable wage in southern Nevada, things along those lines. Bring that high-tech stuff in that deals with the issue generally. Nevada can play a role in that. We should turn those lemons into lemonade, and just defunding it leaves you with an empty project out there.
Well, what about this issue then? None of you buy it at all, and any of you can jump in here, that Harry Reid, his essential campaign, as I said, is he's the Senate Majority Leader, and we've never had anybody in this state. Why would you try to knock him off just because you don't like some of the Democratic policies? I mean, anybody can jump in here. Who's going to be quickest? Go ahead.
I'll just say that anything can be powerful. Tsunamis are powerful. That doesn't mean that they're not a disaster. And Harry Reid has been a disaster for this state, and that's why he needs to be retired.
All right.
This state has a heritage of looking at small government, and Harry Reid speaks for big government. If you look at the things that he's voted for, if you look at the legislation he's promoting, it's essentially a government-centric, big government mentality, tax and spend, and it's what he does. It's not what Nevadans believe in.
All right, well, when we come back, we're going to talk more about that. Tsunami Harry, I like that. That could be his new nickname. Danny Tarkanian rarely didn't start when he was playing for his dad, but he's going to come off the bench today. He's here. Back in a moment. Danny Tarkanian will join us.